Everybody, this is Helen here, aka Dirt in the Ground. This is a video for the Pagan Umbrella. Now, do excuse me if you hear any strange noises because Darren is upstairs tidying his half of the bedroom. Something I so sorely need. It sounds like an elephant is moving around up there. Something I so sorely need to get on to. But what I wanted to talk to you about today is sometimes it can be hard living at home with your parents, or maybe living in a dorm or a rented accommodation and practicing. Like, I am lucky enough to live in a semi-detached house which has 4 bedrooms, but one of those bedrooms has been converted into an altar room for myself because it gets very, very cold here in Ireland and it rains a lot. It's true, that does happen here. And so when the weather is very, very bad, that's where I go to practice. But there are times when we would travel to like my parents' house, like during Yule, and like, you know, I go home for Christmas, and I might go home a few days early to help my mum get the house ready and everything, and it will be during the winter solstice. And I would like to practice as well, but obviously I can't take my huge altar with me because that's just going to be really inconvenient. And obviously there's those that can't you know, in dorms, for example, you can't burn certain things, like you can't burn candles, you can't burn incense, things like that. And then there's younger people, young teenagers. I was a young teenager once. I am 26, but I was young once. And though my parents were very lax with me, they were like, I'm not saying they were bad parents. They were, they knew I was responsible enough with candles and incense, and I came out of the closet very, you know, at a very young age, and they were very accepting of it. But what I'm talking to you about today is small altars or travel altars. And this is what I keep mine in. It's this very small box. Now you're probably thinking, that is tiny. How are you going to fit a whole altar in here? Well, it's really, really simple. This is a really small box. Like, you can see how big it is. It's very, very tiny. But it's amazing what you can do with such a neat little box. Now I'll show you my altar cloth. Nothing special at all, but it is special to me because I made it. Just out of some material I had, I hemmed the sides, and I got some fabric paint and painted on. So there you go. That's the size of my altar cloth. So an altar doesn't have to be huge. It doesn't have to be like my altar. My actual altar is very, very big because I keep a lot of crystals on it. I work a lot with crystals. So there is a lot of stuff on it. Now you're probably thinking, well, what do you use for, like, you know, tools and stuff like that? You don't need a lot of tools when you just have a small altar like this. These are just small glass containers with 2 candles inside. Now I do have electric candles, and they're quite funky actually. We were given them as presents. There you go, you can see the candles now. These are just little glass containers. These we actually use at college for putting, putting masks into before we put them on a client. So yeah, I was looking at them in college and I was like, these are like the things I have my candles in. And so yeah, you can actually pick them up anywhere. They're really, really cheap. So keep an eye out in like thrift stores and stuff like that, things like this. The funky electric candles that we have change colour, and I actually put them inside our pumpkin or jack-o'-lantern because one, it doesn't burn the pumpkin, so the pumpkin stays fresh for a little bit longer, and 2, it looks very spooky from outside because the colours are always changing, so the face with the jack-o'-lantern looks very strange. But electric candles are a great alternative to actual candles for people who live in the dorm or their parents do not want them burning candles. Now for my pentacle altar, I have this, which a friend made for me. because he is a carpenter and he also burns, like he does wood burning. He actually made me another one, a nice leather patch. Like I didn't ask for it, but it was when he was doing his training, and it's beautiful. It's gorgeous. I don't have it with me, unfortunately. It's at my parents' house, but he also made me a bigger one of these for my actual altar upstairs. And he made me this tiny, tiny one, which is really, really cute, out of a piece of oak. So it's really, really lovely. It's a tiny, tiny one. Now, you're probably thinking the representations for the elements. I have with me, I have more containers as well. They're actually not down here. I do have more candles, because you can use a candle for fire if you like. If you can't use candles, all you need is a simple crystal. I have a very small piece of citrine right here, sorry. It's slipping out of my hand. I'm just kind of trying to shadow it so you can see the colour of it. Just a crystal will do, because crystals are formed under immense pressure and heat. It's a perfect symbol for fire. And there's many other perfect symbols for fire, so you can research fire and pick what's relevant, what you feel is relevant for you. For air, I'd use incense, but there are many other ways you can represent air. I use feathers all the time, for example. I'm one of those crazy people you will see that will stop and pick up a feather that I see on the ground that I think is really pretty. I also will go into the woods and just pick up pine cones as well for representation of earth. But I also have some salts that I've blended with certain herbs. I think this is a blend of rosemary and lemongrass for earth as well. Lemongrass is just something I really love the smell of, because it's not burnt, it's just for a representation. This is my container to burn my incense in. I would just put a little bit of sand at the bottom of it just so it doesn't crack, because it needs something to absorb the heat. And then for the water, I have another one of these containers, and I just fill it up with water, and that's it. And then usually I use this for akasha, so that's it really. And for a chalice, this is my chalice, and it even has a pentagram on it. So again, this is actually an egg cup that I found, and my friend just burnt that on for me. So there you go. And you can actually find these kits on the internet, I found, but they're ridiculously priced, but you can put them together yourself, slowly but surely. Another thing I like to do to save money, for example with herbs, I take medicine obviously a lot, because I have epilepsy. One of those medicines I have to take is folic acid, which is something that pregnant women have to take. And so people are always like, you take folic acid, are you pregnant? And I'm like, no. But so I'm always left with these empty bottles, and so I hold on to these, and when I am finished drying out my herbs and everything, I put them into these and I label them, and then I store them away. And it's just a neat way of storing my herbs. They may not be fancy looking, they may not be pretty looking, but it's just a great way of recycling and just not throwing things away. Like obviously we do recycle in this house, we recycle everything, but it's just a really neat way of storing small amount of herbs, because I only grow small amounts, because I don't use huge amounts, and because it's just myself who'd be using these. And yeah, that's what I do. I do just think about things that you would use around the house, and if you have any tips and tricks yourself that you do yourself, feel free to share it, because that's what this group is for. And it's always great to hear from the members and hear about any neat things that you do. as well. And I hope seeing my small travel altar has maybe given some the members here who don't have, a way of having a bigger altar or a permanent altar set up, has given you an idea of how to put together a small altar that you can put together, you can set up in a matter of minutes and take down in a matter of minutes as well. So you can have it for, rituals, holidays, and for spellcasting. You can do that. So I hope I've given you some food for thought. And I hope you're all keeping very, very well. And happy spring. It's so nice to have some sunshine. Bye. Blessed be.